Hello, my name is Dale Wilhite. I'm in Montrose, Colorado at the moment. If you want to find out anything about me, go to MySpace, Twitter, or Facebook, where I have accounts. This year is about the American Civil Liberties Union. And you can do your own research on their history and how they began. But they are some of the things that they do is very, very disturbing. First of all, they are very, very left wing. They they've even admitted to having communists on their board of directors before. A communist people is not a person who's going to preserve and protect and defend the American Constitution. A communist is a person who's going to seek to overthrow it or to alter it so they can have a communist society. So when the ACLU says we are not communists, they're liars. Their founder, Roger Baldwin, was a socialist and a communist. These were anti-war activists, basically how the ACLU began. Their intent to defend themselves against the government is admirable. We do need organizations to fight the government, tooth and nail on some issues. But the point of it is they've gone way, way over the line. And I'm just sorry. Communists are not people who are going to defend, protect our Constitution or preserve it. They're going to overthrow it or alter it. There is no other way. And so when they have communists on their board of directors, that says a lot about them. But the ACLU also believes in things that are very disturbing. The pornography issue is something that needs to be clarified. There is no claim by the ACLU that all child pornography is constitutional. What they're claiming, though, is that images of child pornography, the images, not necessarily photos of a child, somebody taking photos of a child for pornographic reasons, is constitutional, but the images of it, they just don't believe that the government ought to be cracking down on pornography. But I'm sorry, any images of a child undressed, having sex, whatever, even in an image, is child pornography. Although I do believe that it's wrong for some parents to have been arrested for taking pictures of their baby that's their own child that's naked. A lot of parents do that, and I think that's kind of silly. It's kind of like silly to put a 18-year-old kid as a sex offender on a registry for having sex with a 14-year-old girl. It's wrong, yes, and that's why they need to teach that in school, what the age of consent is, and put it up on a bulletin board so that kids can, if a kid's going to have sex with some girl that's younger than him, or vice versa, he can go to that board and look and see if it's legal or not. Because a lot of these kids don't even think about stuff like that. That's why a lot of judges let them go, because those judges have probably themselves had sex when they were over 18 and with some girl that's 14, 15 years old or even younger. Anyhow, but dealing with pornography again, there have been chapter presidents who have been arrested for owning child pornography and are screaming and yelling that child pornography of all kinds is constitutional. That's a fact. You can look it up online of the names of these chapter presidents of the ACLU who have been arrested. And I remember one in Oklahoma one time back, I think it was in the 80s, that a couple of deputies came and took away some tapes from him. He was the president of the ACLU then in Oklahoma. And just took the tapes away from him that he had of child pornographers, or of child pornography. Instead of arresting him, I would have arrested him if I was the deputy or the sheriff. And he sat there and lectured them about his constitutional rights to, own child pornography. Well, that's kind of like these Islamic terrorists claiming that the Quran gives them the right to beat their women, chop their fingers off, they have fingernail polish on them, keep them, treat them like animals and dogs, and they hide behind their religion to do that. Well, the ACLU has a lot of people that hide behind the Constitution to commit crimes like child pornography. Anyhow, the other things that the ACLU would like to do, at least in California, but I think this is the entire ACLU, they want to change the names of all cities and counties, whatever, that have, a Christian name. San Diego, San Francisco, St. Augustine, Florida, St. Cloud, Minnesota, San Antonio, Texas, Los Angeles, San Miguel County, Colorado, you name it. They want to change it. They say it's unconstitutional. Of course, they also are the ones behind the evolution in school and want to deny children the right to learn about creationism. That's because they can't compete against the creationism fact. They might say, well, it's just a theory. Well, it's more of a fact, because somebody had to make all this. Somebody had to make us. But anyhow, we'll get into that in a moment. But nonetheless, they're the ones behind all that garbage. And of course, they want to take "In God We Trust" off all the coins and stuff like that. And it's true, it wasn't always on our money or in our coins and stuff, but it's not really hurting anybody. They also do not believe that airline companies have the right to check your baggages on a plane. They'll sit there and say, well, we want to get on a plane and know that we're safe and so forth, but we still think it's an invasion of your privacy. Yeah, well, if it wasn't for the terrorists trying to blow us all up, I would be on their side and say, don't check my bags, leave it out. But unfortunately, we live in a world where we have terrorists trying to kill us all. You see, so the ACLU is trying to have it both ways. They say we support the right of the airlines and the government to protect us and know that when we get on a plane, we're going to get off of it alive and it's not going to blow up. But the only way you can do that is to check people's luggage. I just came from Pensacola late last year, and they checked my luggage, went all through it. I'm fine with it. They also do not believe in sobriety checks. They do not believe that the government has a right to stop a person at a checkpoint to see if they're drunk or not. I have no problem with that. I see no problem with that at all. I don't think it is an invasion. I don't think it's unconstitutional. Again, if we didn't have drunk drivers out there killing around 19,000 people a year, then I would be on the side of the ACLU. But we live in a different world. That doesn't mean the Constitution has to be changed. I'm not a progressive. But it does mean that we have to be real sometimes. And I just don't think that a sobriety check is unconstitutional. I don't see any basis for that. But anyway, that's just some of the things that the ACLU stands for, in this country. They're very, very disturbing. You know about the Christmas thing. They want to get rid of Christmas and Thanksgiving as a national holiday, and soon they'll be wanting to get rid of the 4th of July as a holiday. I'm surprised they haven't demanded that. I'm surprised that if the Supreme Court ruled that we have to change all the names of our cities and towns and have Christian names, and we changed San Diego to Satanville, they probably wouldn't mind that. This is an anti-religious, anti-Jesus hating organization. That's true. It is true that most of them are Jewish, but let me make it very clear. The fact that they're Jewish is irrelevant. I'm a strong supporter of Israel. I support America's support of Israel. I support Israel as a nation. I support Israel claiming or announcing that Jerusalem will be its capital if that's what they choose. And I believe that if we abandon the Jewish people and Israel, that would be the end of America. So this is just some of the things about the ACLU that you need to know about. Again, some of it is, you sometimes just have to go read their websites on these issues and find them out. They are very lax on terrorists. They don't believe in the death penalty. I only believe in the death penalty for very small, very unusual circumstances. In a very rare case is what I'm trying to say, like a Ted Bundy. He got what he deserved. But overall, the evidence that a lot of people are being put to death or on death row that are innocent is coming true, and we're finding out seems like every month or two we hear of another person on death row that's been found innocent. And so that's kind of scary, because it's our friend of the Constitution didn't mean for innocent people to be put to death. So DNA is really is helping a lot of people that are on death row to be freed. So I think I agree with them to that point, but is it unconstitutional? No. There's no way. Anyhow, this is just some of what I wanted to say about the ACLU. It's a very disturbing organization, and I hope that more conservatives will create their own civil rights organizations to take on the government, when they're in the wrong. There are some that has a Pat Robertson stamp on it. But we need more of a secular civil rights organization to take on the government when they are doing things that are unconstitutional. Kind of like bailouts and Obama taking everything over just about 51% of our private economy is pretty much in his hands now. Anyway, I have to stop here, and I hope I enlightened you some about the ACLU.